It's March 27, 1972, in Los Angeles, California. A bank manager, an ordinary man on an ordinary Monday morning, walks into the vault room of the United Bank of California. It's his usual routine, nothing out of the ordinary. But today, there's a problem. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe for more true stories like this. He turns the vault's heavy dial, but the door won't open. He tries again, a bit harder this time, his palms starting to sweat. He shoves harder, still nothing. Panic sets in. The bank manager calls for help. Employees rush in, but no one can figure it out. The vault won't budge. There's no way the vault, designed to be impregnable, could fail. In an attempt to salvage the situation, they call in a safe technician. It's supposed to be a quick fix. But what the technician would find that day was beyond anything anyone expected. But what if you were in the manager's shoes? Would you have been able to solve the mystery or uncover the truth behind the perfect crime? Hit that like button and comment your thoughts below. If you're fascinated by true crime stories like this, subscribe now to catch all the gripping details. Now, let's see what happens next. The technician arrives, equipped with his toolbox, ready to examine the vault's locking mechanism. He spends hours meticulously checking the lock and trying to figure out why the vault won't open. Everything seems fine. The combination's correct. The mechanism appears intact. Still, the vault is locked tight. Frustrated and out of ideas, the technician climbs into the rafters above the vault, thinking it might provide some clarity. As he moves through the dusty space, something catches his eye, a hole in the vault roof, perfectly cut. A chill runs down his spine. The hole leads up to another opening in the bank's roof. The technician freezes, his mind racing. He realizes the unthinkable. The vault had been robbed. Someone, or a team of people, had cut through the roof and breached the vault. But how did they know this was the weak point? The technician quickly reports his findings, and soon, the police arrive. The vault's interior is a chaotic mess. Items are thrown about haphazardly: watches, jewelry, bonds, and documents. It's clear the robbers were after only the most valuable items, leaving behind lesser valuables and unopened safety deposit boxes. The thieves were incredibly organized, rifling through safety boxes and taking only the precious metals, bonds, and cash. They left the rest behind. They were careful, almost clinical in their approach. But despite all their precision, they still made a fatal mistake. The investigation begins in earnest. Police examine the debris left in the vault and the surrounding area. They notice strange materials mixed with the cement dust, dark soil, burlap, and what appeared to be gunpowder. Something didn't add up. The alarm system had been disabled, yet there were no signs of forced entry from the ground level. How did the thieves get past the system? The answer was right in front of them. The robbers had disabled the alarm using liquid styrofoam, spraying it on the alarm clapper to freeze it in place. Brilliant. But one small error in their flawless plan would lead to their downfall. Before we move on, kindly like and subscribe for more video like this. The robbers weren't just a group of amateurs, they were professionals. They knew exactly what they were doing. First, they disabled the alarm system with the styrofoam, then climbed up to the roof using a steel ladder, carrying their cutting tools and drills. They brought their own electricity to power their tools, and with this setup, they began the laborious task of cutting into the reinforced concrete vault roof. They drilled small holes to make space for dynamite and carefully placed sandbags to muffle the explosion sound. They were meticulous. Each move was planned down to the last detail. And when the dynamite went off, they finally had access to the vault. But the iron supports inside the roof weren't so easily defeated. After the dynamite explosion failed to break the iron supports, the robbers did something most thieves would never think of. They used an acetylene torch to cut through the remaining iron. Nothing was left to chance. They were skilled, precise, and well prepared for every potential setback. The investigation would later reveal that the robbers had anticipated every obstacle, every piece of resistance. But their professionalism didn't save them. In the end, it was their small mistakes that would lead to their capture. The police have nothing. No fingerprints. No physical evidence. The robbery had been meticulously executed, leaving behind only a few clues. Yet, there was no obvious way to track down the criminals. It seemed the thieves had disappeared into thin air, their identities and movements carefully hidden. But then, just as the investigation seemed to hit a dead end, the police found something surprising: a pair of black gloves left behind. The gloves didn't offer much, but they were a clue, a thread the police could pull to unravel the mystery. The investigation takes a surprising turn when the officers begin investigating the motels and hotels near the bank. After days of interviews with hotel staff, they finally catch a break. A motel receptionist recognizes Emil Dincio, the leader of the gang, and his brother-in-law, Charles Mulligan, from a series of photos the police show her. The two suspects had checked into the motel just days before the robbery. This could be the lead the officers had been waiting for. They traced the car's license plate number, leading them to a connection they hadn't anticipated. The path was now clearer, but they still had to find concrete proof linking the suspects to the crime. Days later, while searching a rented apartment where the gang had stayed, the investigators find something unexpected. In the apartment's dishwasher, still full of dirty dishes and cups, they find fingerprints. It's a small, overlooked mistake, but one that would ultimately unravel the entire case. The thieves, having left in a hurry, forgot to turn off the dishwasher. This was the key mistake that sealed their fate. The prints on the dishes matched the prints found on the robbery tools. With this evidence, the police were finally able to make their move. The FBI, now armed with irrefutable evidence, sets up a sting operation. They plan to meet Charles Mulligan at a local restaurant, hoping to get a confession or at least further evidence of his involvement. The tension builds as Mulligan and Dawson, an informant, meet at the Walnut Room restaurant. The officers, positioned around the restaurant, monitor the conversation carefully. As Mulligan enters and meets Dawson, the FBI hopes the thieves will slip up and say something that will give them away. During the meeting, Dawson tries to get Mulligan to talk, but Mulligan is careful. When Dawson asks if he's involved in the robbery, Mulligan only chuckles and deflects the question. The officers inside the restaurant are unable to hear the entire conversation, so one of them goes to the bathroom, signaling to Dawson that it's time to share the information they need. Dawson tells the officer that while Mulligan didn't outright admit to the robbery, he did hint at it, confirming their suspicions. Now they had a lead on Mulligan, and it was time to make their move. Dawson leads the officers to Mulligan's car, which is parked at his house. They can't search the car without a warrant, but through the car's window, they spot tools, the same tools used in the robbery. They've found what they need. The officers now have the evidence they need to make arrests. The arrests begin. Emil Dincio, the gang leader, is captured easily at his house. James Dincio, his brother, is arrested while trying to flee the airport with a suitcase full of stolen cash. Charles Mulligan is taken into custody along with Philip Christopher. But Harry Barber, another key member, is still on the run. Harry Barber remains elusive for 8 years, but the FBI never gives up. Finally, a tip leads them to him. He's found living in Pennsylvania under a different name. After 8 long years, Harry Barber is arrested and sent to Los Angeles to face trial. With all the thieves finally caught, the case is closed. The gang's meticulous planning couldn't save them from the small mistakes they made. From the forgotten dishwasher to the motel phone calls, every misstep led the FBI straight to them. The sentences for the criminals range from 15 to 20 years, a reminder that even the most perfect crimes can crumble due to overconfidence and carelessness. Do you think these thieves underestimated the power of small mistakes? What do you think about their downfall? Was it inevitable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of perfect crimes gone wrong.